The star of the reality show 90 Day Fiancé, Angela, is making headlines once more. According to recent reports, she is marrying her secret lover. After learning the news, her husband Michael is inconsolable. Michael reportedly heard Angela say, "You will never again be in my presence. My life is no longer with you." Michael snapped back, saying, "Angela, I'll get a divorce from you. I no longer desire you." Once characterized by love and trust, the couple's relationship is now in danger of disintegrating. Additionally, fans are left wondering, is this just another dramatic turn in the 90 Day Fiancé plot, or is Angela actually going on to a new life? There has always been drama, love, treachery, and memorable moments in the 90 Day Fiancé universe. However, none anticipated the unexpected course of events involving Angela Deem and Michael Ilesanmi, a pair whose romance had withstood innumerable arguments, cultural differences, and distance. Fans have witnessed their tears, laughter, arguments, and reconciliations for years. However, it appeared to be definitive this time. It began in silence. Online rumors started to spread that Angela was covertly seeing a new man, whom she had met at a Georgia charity function. Fans initially wrote it off as tabloid bullshit. Although Angela had always had a fiery personality, Michael had her heart. Or so everyone believed. Then the shocking news arrived. Angela affirmed that she had found peace with someone else and that she was done with Michael. Social media was rocked by her announcement. Still in Nigeria, Michael was taken by surprise. It wasn't even Angela who told him, but a mutual friend. The call rapidly became acrimonious when Michael called her. Angela yelled on the phone, "You will never again enter my presence. I no longer need you in my life." The pain and bitterness that come from years of disappointment were evident in her voice. She interrupted Michael as he attempted to justify himself. The line died. Michael sat for a long time without saying anything. He was shown flashbacks of their tumultuous but intense love, including the time she traveled to Nigeria to meet his family, the sleepless hours they spent fighting over loyalty, the tears and joy, and the hope of someday being together in America. It all seems so long ago. Michael made a choice that night that would alter the course of history. He left a voicemail saying, "Angela, I'll divorce you. I no longer want you." Calm yet decisive was the tone. Michael sounded like he really meant it for the first time. Meanwhile, Angela was already on the move. Her emotional fulcrum had been her new lover, Brandon, a younger man who was a local businessman who respected her self-assurance. He gave her the respect that she rarely got but always sought. Angela felt free, wanted, and seen with him. However, not everyone shared her happiness. Jojo, Angela's closest friend, questioned her choice. "Are you certain that this isn't merely retaliation, Angela?" Over wine one evening, Jojo inquired, "You've been in love with Michael for years. That cannot just be erased." Angela's gaze grew softer. "Jojo, I didn't erase it," she muttered. "I made it through it." Michael's life in Nigeria, however, took a negative turn. His friends saw that his smile had faded. He removed himself from the public eye and deactivated his social media accounts. He shunned fan communications and interviews for weeks. Pride and love, which he had lost simultaneously, had shattered him as a man. Months went by. The divorce petition was submitted. At a private wedding in Georgia, Angela made headlines once more, this time in a white outfit. Within hours, the images went viral. She exuded confidence, looked radiant, and was unabashedly herself. However, there was a persistent melancholy hidden beneath that furious smile that no one else could see. Angela was looking at an old picture of herself and Michael from their first season of 90 Day Fiancé on the morning of her new wedding. She recalled how she used to roll her eyes when he called her "my queen," but she secretly loved it. She momentarily questioned whether she had erred. Grinning, Brandon grasped her hand as he entered. "Are you prepared?" Slowly, Angela nodded. "Yes, I am prepared." However, she experienced an odd heaviness in her chest as she made her way down the aisle. Perhaps it was sentimentality. It might have been unresolved love, or perhaps it was simply the last farewell she was able to utter. Thousands of miles away, Michael waited outside while the Nigerian dusk faded. He glanced at his phone, the same one that had voice notes from Angela and old pictures on it. He gave a slight smile, but his eyes were glistening. He said to himself in a whisper, She's happy now. That's the only thing that counts. The world continued to discuss if Angela's recent marriage was genuine or just another 90-day fiancé snub. For Michael and Angela, however, the reality was more straightforward. Two individuals who had previously loved intensely had finally let go. In a way, their journey was a kind of serenity. Even though it appeared to end in sadness, it was best summed up in Angela's final words to a close friend: "My tale will never be complete without Michael, but I'm finally starting the next chapter." But as producers hurried to prepare everything for the 90-day fiancé, happily ever after, the studio lights glowed brightly and reflected off the polished floor. Tell All Season 7. Everyone knew that anarchy would inevitably ensue when Angela Deem and Michael Ilesanmi entered the same room, so the tension backstage was intense. Angela was grumbling to herself while pacing in her high heels. "I vow to God I'll reveal everything if that man lies on national television again. Everything." She spoke while holding her phone firmly. Jojo, her best friend, attempted to soothe her. "Please, girl, don't do that again. Simply enter and maintain your composure." However, Angela wasn't paying attention. In her mind, she kept playing back images, chats, and videos of Michael's purported internet flirtations. She was seeking retribution because she had previously been embarrassed. Surrounded by crew personnel and a translator, Michael sat calmly on the opposite side of the structure. He appeared exhausted. His normally composed manner had given way to a subdued melancholy. "I'd rather not fight," he muttered. "I just want to be honest. Perhaps at last, people will comprehend me." When the cameras started to roll, host Sean Robinson grinned. "Welcome to the Happily Ever After Season 7 Tell-All, everybody. We have some of the most memorable couples tonight. And Angela and Michael are definitely among them." Everyone in the audience understood that this would be the main event, so they whispered. Angela's presence was enormous when she walked onto the platform in a sparkling gold dress. Tension was increased when Michael made an appearance a short while later over a live video hookup from Nigeria. His connection was a little slow. At the screen, Angela's eyes narrowed. She said, "There he is. The man who embarrassed me in front of the world and broke my heart." Michael tried not to panic. "Please don't start yelling, Angela. Let me clarify. What can you explain?" She stood up and interrupted. "That you have resumed messaging women? That after I instructed you not to, you used Instagram behind my back?" "Michael, don't act innocent around me." Sean attempted to mediate softly. "Let's take a breath, Angela. In a moment, we will address the social media issue." However, Angela had no desire to breathe. Taking printed screenshots out of her backpack, she did so. "Look here, take a look. Take a look at what he sent. Good morning, beautiful." "You say that to your side woman, not your wife." The studio let out a gasp. Michael's expression fell. "Those are outdated messages, Angela. I apologized already. Yes, I made mistakes, but your constant ranting and swearing is making things worse." "Don't tell me how to act, Michael," said Angela, leaning closer to the monitor. "You cheated. You told a falsehood. I looked foolish because of you." Sean let out a sigh. "All right, let's go one step at a time." Things reached a breaking point halfway through the recording. Michael paused for too long for Angela's taste when Sean asked him whether he still loved her. "You see that?" She let out a scream. "He is incapable of claiming to love me." At last, Michael said something. "I love you, Angela, but this is no longer how I can live. You ruin things every time I try to fix them. You don't believe me. You yell at me. You treat me disrespectfully." For a brief period, Angela's expression softened, as though his words resonated deeply within her. But her pride quickly overcame her. "Do you wish to discuss respect? You came to America with me. I gave it all to you, and you talked to other ladies online in return?" Tears welled up in Michael's eyes. "Angela, you never let me be who I am. I am under your authority. You tell me who I can talk to, what I can post, and even who I can be friends with. That is incarceration, not love." There was silence in the studio. Sean appeared astounded as well. Angela's hands were shaking. She started to say, "You ungrateful," but stopped. Something uncommon was captured on camera. Angela Deem stunned. Then Michael inhaled deeply. "I must speak the truth," he muttered. "I've been keeping in touch with I met a woman on the internet. However, this isn't what everyone believes." Angela's cheeks flushed. You dare not, Michael went on. She works as a counselor. She assisted me in managing my stress, anxiety, and fear of losing everything. I don't love her. You stopped listening to me, Angela? So she is someone who does listen? Angela blinked. For the first time, her expression was one of genuine confusion. A therapist? Michael gave a nod. Indeed, someone who reminded me that I am more than just a project. I am a person. Sean leaned closer. How does hearing that make you feel, Angela? Angela's eyes were fixed on the ground. I feel as though I am at a loss for words. Perhaps I exerted too much force. Perhaps I was simply afraid of losing him once more. Her voice trembled a little. I wanted to avoid getting hurt. Michael gave a sorrowful smile. Angela, you were never going to lose me. However, in our attempts to dominate one another, we both lost ourselves. Sean had one last query as the tell-all came to a close. So, is this the end for you two? With a bitter laugh, Angela wiped her eyes. I'm not sure, Sean. Perhaps this is farewell? Or perhaps it's just another conflict in the same narrative. Michael gave a nod. I still have feelings for her. However, I require peace. As Angela stared at Michael's image on the screen, the camera panned in. Michael, you will always be a part of me. However, I believe that our journey is coming to an end. The audience became quiet. Angela got to her feet, removed her microphone, and left the stage. The years of upheaval, heartache, and laughter between them were punctuated by the click of her heels. As he observed from the monitor, Michael said, "Goodbye, Angela?" Blackness crept across the screen, but Angela Dean was already pacing her kitchen, her morning coffee left on the counter, as the sun was just beginning to rise over the little Georgian village of Hazelhurst. Her phone was constantly buzzing with texts, pictures, and a few direct messages that she didn't like the appearance of. Once more, the gossip columns came to life, and this time, Michael was the subject. One message read, "Michael is making new friends in Nigeria. Girl, you might want to see this." Angela's heart almost stopped as she opened the linked video. Michael Ilisanmi was there, smiling, dancing, and joking with two young ladies at what appeared to be a Lagos rooftop lounge. A bit too close for comfort, the camera zoomed in. Even as he was talking, one of the women leaned on his shoulder. Angela glared and slammed her phone against the counter. Oh, hell no. There's no way my man is out there pretending to be unmarried. She snatched up her keys and rushed out. When they spotted her approaching, even the dogs dispersed. Michael, meantime, was unaware of the conflagration that was brewing over the Atlantic in Lagos. He had recently met his new co-workers, a warm group of local influencers who had been helping him expand his little YouTube channel about life after reality TV. They wanted to help him get over the drama, repair his reputation, and perhaps make a living that wasn't dependent on Angela's erratic outbursts. One of the girls, Amara, was a cheerful, easy-to-laugh girl who created digital stuff. After everything Michael had endured on the show, she respected his fortitude. She advised him to show people who you really are, not just how you appeared on camera. Michael gave a grateful nod. You're correct. People believe that I'm weak since I gave Angela complete power. That is something I wish to alter. He had no idea, though, that Angela had just made a flight reservation. 3 days later, Michael heard a familiar voice shout his name across the street while he was editing one of his movies at a cafe. "Hey, Michael!" He stopped. He almost dropped his coffee cup out of his grasp. He turned around slowly, and there she was, Angela, standing on the pavement with her chest heaving, sunglasses on, and a hurricane-fresh appearance. There was silence in the cafe. Everyone looked. "Angela?" He stumbled. "What are you doing here exactly? Why am I in this place?" She stormed toward him in retaliation. "I ought to ask you that. How on earth are you interacting with these young girls? You don't think I'd know? You don't suppose I have eyes everywhere?" Embarrassed, Michael glanced around. "They're just my pals, Angela. All we're doing together is working on my channel." "Communities." With each phrase, Angela's southern accent thickened as she mocked. When did a married man let one of his buddies to put her head on his shoulder while they were out clubbing? Amara, who had been seated close by, got up apprehensively. "We didn't mean any disrespect, ma'am. We were simply—" Angela interrupted her. "Don't ma'am me, my love. I've already seen this film and it doesn't have a nice ending." Michael sprang to his feet, attempting to soothe her. "Please, Angela, you're going overboard just to yell at me you traveled this far." "I did, damn it," she yelled. While you play Mr. Bachelor in Lagos, I won't sit in Georgia. Back at their motel that night, the tension was intolerable. Michael paced close to the window as Angela sat with her arms folded on the edge of the bed. "You must have faith in me, Angela," he added quietly. "You are mistaken about these women. They are assisting me. I'm attempting to construct something for us." Angela gave him a fierce look. "For us or for you?" He let out a sigh. "Angela, I cannot be afraid to make friends for the rest of my life. I'm not being unfaithful to you. All I'm trying to do is develop. You claim to love me, but love shouldn't feel like a jail." For a moment, her face softened. "Do you believe that I don't want you to develop?" "Michael, I simply don't want to lose you. It seems like you're sliding away every time I see another woman close to you." Michael took her hand and sat next to her. "Then accompany me on this adventure. Don't argue with me about it. Assist me in making it work." Angela didn't yell for the first time in a long time. She sighed as she glanced down at their hands, her rough palm resting on his smooth. "Perhaps I overreacted a bit." Michael gave a small smile. "Just a bit?" Angela grinned. "Avoid pushing it." A rare, soft sound between two people who had experienced too much chaos was their shared laughter. Angela consented to have a proper meeting with Amara and the rest of Michael's staff the following morning. They discussed his channel, business, and how others could be inspired by Michael's tale. The women surprised Angela by being courteous, respectful, and sincere in their desire to see Michael succeed. Angela even cracked a smile at the end of the meeting, although she was careful to remind everyone that, "I will return if any of you become overly friendly." There was relief in the air, yet everyone laughed uneasily. Michael thanked his supportive wife for always believing in him, even when things were rough, in a new video he shared that evening called "Finding Balance in Love and Dreams." With the city lights sparkling below, Angela viewed it from the hotel balcony. She didn't feel suspicious or angry for once. She was pleased. However, she whispered to herself, he had better not make a mistake again. "I'm not going to take 2 plane trips in a month." From inside, Michael heard her and grinned. "Yes," he joked, "my queen." Despite rolling her eyes, Angela couldn't help but smile in return. But Angela Deem's kitchen table was streaked with gold as the morning sun in Hazelhurst, Georgia, peeked the thin drapes. Angela sat there looking at her phone screen blankly while holding a coffee mug. Nigeria is the source of dozens of unread messages and missed calls. Michael. 3 months had passed since Michael's arrival in the United States. What was meant to be the start of their happily ever after swiftly devolved into a battlefield of emotions. The honeymoon period was over in less than a week. Arguments broke out about everything, including who he spoke to on the phone, how late he stayed out, and who he followed on Instagram. Angela mumbled, "Lord, I don't even know if this man loves me anymore," with a heavy sigh. Michael was pacing back and forth outside their home that same morning. Since their heated argument last night, which began when she noticed a heart symbol beneath one of his TikTok videos, he had been avoiding Angela. Michael had attempted to clarify, "It's only a fan, Angela. Comments about love hearts are common." But it didn't sit well with Angela. "Oh, really? Michael Ilisanmi, do you think I was born yesterday? You don't think I understand what that means?" She had isolated herself in the bedroom and banged the door. Michael was now considering how far they had strayed as the cool morning air blew across his face. "I came all the way here for love," he said to himself. "However, I feel like I have to tread carefully every day now." Later that day, TLC's producers arrived to tape a check-in section. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Angela sported her signature leopard print shirt and a gaze that could melt steel. Michael sat on the opposite couch, hands folded firmly. The producer asked softly, "Angela, do you think your marriage can be saved?" Angela's eyes were flaming as she leaned forward. "I didn't go through the entire process, the waiting, the tears, the visa, just to discard it all. But I ain't no idiot. If a man can't give me respect, he don't deserve my heart." Michael looked down. "Angela, I respect you. I love you. However, you don't trust me, and this is ruining our marriage." Sensing the tension, the producer discreetly allowed them to speak alone. Cameras continued to roll in the background. Angela's tone softened as she inhaled deeply. "You are aware of my affection for you, Michael?" "I understand," he murmured, his eyes moist as he looked up. However, there are moments when your love seems like a hurricane. I'm never sure when it will stop or when it will blow everything up. Angela was deeply affected by that. She got up and paced the room. You believe that I enjoy my current state? I want to be angry all the time, do you think? Michael, I've been harmed. A man has always taken advantage of me when I've opened up to him. You were expected to be unique. Michael stood up as well and declared, I am different. But because of what other men did to you, you continued to punish me. For us, I traveled to America. You don't even realize that I left behind my life, my friends, and my family. Despite her best efforts to conceal them, tears welled up in Angela's eyes. Then demonstrate for me. Michael, show me you're not exploiting me to get a green card. Michael approached with a shaky voice. I'm not. Angela, all I want is peace with you. I want us to rekindle our laughter. I want to feel like your spouse rather than your adversary. A protracted hush ensued. The cameraman even ceased whispering. For the first time in weeks, Angela wiped away her tears and gave him a serious look. They watched the sunset paint the Georgia sky in orange and purple hues while sitting on the porch together that evening. You know, Michael, we're both stubborn as hell, Angela stated after lighting a cigarette and taking a leisurely puff. Michael gave a quiet laugh. Yes, sweetheart. Perhaps yet. That is what holds us together. Angela grinned. Avoid becoming too cozy. I still have my eye on that account on TikTok. Michael shook his head and laughed. I erased it, Angela. Now I just want to concentrate on us. Startled, she turned to face him. You did? Yes, he replied earnestly. I came to the realization that no video and no followers are worth losing. Something changed inside Angela. Although it wasn't complete forgiveness, it was a beginning. She extended her hand to grasp his. Perhaps we both need some fixing. Michael gave a nod. We can attend therapy. Perhaps Pastor Lou can assist us. Counseling? Angela's eyebrow went up. Do you believe a priest will calm me down? He smiled. Perhaps not, but perhaps he can facilitate a conversation without shouting. With a genuine chuckle, Angela rested her head on his shoulder. All right, baby. We'll try it your way. Weeks went by. They began going to online sessions with Pastor Lou, who helped them work through their emotional wounds in a gentle manner. Rebuilding trust took time. Before blowing up, Angela learned to listen. Instead of suppressing his emotions, Michael learned to communicate them. Although it was never going to be flawless, it was a step forward. TLC captured their vow renewal in Georgia a few months later. Michael wore a traditional black suit, while Angela chose a form-fitting white dress with gold accents. They stood beneath a sunflower arch while their loved ones looked on. Michael, I've screamed at you, cried over you, and nearly lost you, Angela remarked, looking directly into his eyes when it was her turn to speak. But in the midst of it all, I came to the realization that I don't want the ideal marriage. All I want is us. Angela, I came to this country for love, not papers, Michael said, his voice shaking. And I will continue to choose you every day, no matter how difficult things get. As the audience applauded, Angela shed tears for the first time in years. But they were tears of gratitude rather than rage. They kissed as the sun set behind the Georgia trees, not like celebrities or entertainers, but rather like two souls at last finding calm after a storm. And perhaps, just possibly, their marriage might be salvaged. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amelia, and I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video.